Welcome to my Research and Practice Assessment 2, which is on my MIS Chosen Pathway, which will be an individual consultancy project. My name is Jacob Quarmby and my candidate number is 33575718. So in terms of the reasoning behind choosing a consultancy pathway, I'll be applying my knowledge to solve real business problems, which is vital to the business world and will interest employers. It also demonstrates key skills such as problem solving, research initiative, and analytical skills, which shows my employability. Finally, I'll be basing this project on Golf Breaks, which is the organisation that I'm working for my 12-month placement. So I will have had first-hand experience of their business processes as well as their issues. This will help me to make more effective recommendations. Moving on now to the topic of study and aims and objectives. My consultancy project title is an in-depth analysis and identification of new marketing strategies for golf breaks. When writing my aims and objectives, I've made sure that the objectives clearly link to my aims to give a clear outline of what this project is trying to achieve. My first aim is to explore new marketing strategies which could lead to increased sales at golf breaks. Objective 1, which links to this, is to conduct a market research questionnaire on new and existing customers to understand customer motives and preferences. Objective 2 is to conduct a competitor analysis of competitors in the golf travel industry that sell similar products. Objective 3 is to give effective recommendations on new effective marketing strategies that golf breaks could implement to increase their sales. Aim number 2 is to increase their social media presence and improve the relationship with the consumer. Objective number 4, which links to this, is to conduct a SWOT analysis of how Golf Breaks currently promotes itself on social media. Objective number 5 is to provide recommendations based upon analysis of how Golf Breaks can increase their social media presence to generate more leads for sales. Aim number 3, and the final aim, is to contribute to the personal development of the researcher, which is myself. Objective 6, which links to this, is to provide the researcher with experience in performing research in a professional capacity and offering consultancy to a real organisation. In terms of the rationale of the project, the key internal stakeholders this project concerns includes, first and foremost, the client themselves, which is Golf Breaks, and the employees, including senior management. Customers are considered external stakeholders as they may be impacted by this project. However, they don't directly work with the company. The government are also considered an external stakeholder as they collect taxes from golf breaks. In terms of the implications of this project, it should hopefully provide a framework for golf breaks to implement going forward to improve their marketing and sales performance. If this is not fully achieved, this project will provide strong foundations for further research to be conducted upon in order to reach effective recommendations. Moving on to the literature review now. In the literature review, I've generally grouped literature and theories according to how they link to the order of the marketing process. Peaty in 1995 defines marketing as a process of identifying, predicting, and satisfying customer needs profitably. Furthermore, Slater and Narva 1998 adds that if companies focus more on the wants and needs of customers, they will be more successful. Academics such as Ziethamel and Bittner 2000 imply that relationship marketing is essential only for retaining customers and repeat business. On the other hand, Krakauer et al. 2001 argue that it can also be used for attracting new customers. However, Payne and Frau in 2006 conclude that overall, relationship marketing is a very effective strategy for creating a competitive advantage. Kim et al. 2001 suggests that the use of social media as a marketing tool can stimulate arguably the most powerful form of promotion, which is word of mouth. Litvin in 2008 explains that word of mouth is a communication about products and services between consumers who are independent of the organisation. McCarthy in 1964 suggests that the marketing strategy itself revolves around the 4 Ps in the marketing mix, which are product, price, place, and promotion. Lauterborn in 1990 expands upon this by implying that the 4 Ps should be seen as from a consumer perspective for the most effective marketing strategy. Then finally, in terms of implementing a marketing strategy, Hall and Urbina in 2007 implied that the Ansoff matrix can be applied to decide what type of strategy will be most effective, which can be market penetration, market development, product development, or diversification. Here I've highlighted all the literature which links to my consultancy project and my topic area. Moving on to the methodology now. In terms of a research paradigm, I've decided to take the positivist approach, which is highly structured, requires large sample sizes, and typically generates quantitative data. This is because it can also be used for explaining why situations occur and thus finding solutions to problems, as suggested by Dudovsky in 2016. In addition, this type of paradigm would also allow me to gain a better understanding of customers' wants and needs, which is crucial information to acquire accurately when thinking of new marketing pathways, and consequently will help me to provide effective recommendations. I will not be using a mixed methods approach, as hard, numerical, quantitative data should be sufficient for providing effective recommendations, and qualitative data often has a higher risk of being influenced by personal bias. Quantitative data relies on measurable numeric data, which is typically collected through questionnaires and surveys. For this reason, I've decided to use a market research survey to gather data. In terms of the sampling method, non-probability purposive sampling will be the most effective for this project because the sampling has a specific purpose it is trying to achieve. Here I will be sending out a survey to a database of customers sourced from the client to all possible respondents, if golf breaks agree to this. A survey will allow me to design questions in a way that would enable a clear justification as to the new marketing strategy provided. Davies in 2007 adds to this, implying that surveys produce data which is much easier to analyse. Brock and Holt in 2017 suggests that, as for experienced researchers such as myself, it is useful to use an existing scale in the survey questions, such as the Likert scale, which is useful for gaining an understanding on customer attitudes. An information sheet will be given to the respondents at the start of the survey, highlighting that this is a voluntary survey and therefore stating their right to withdraw at any point. It will also explain what the data is being used for. Ethics have been considered, the respondents will remain anonymous, and the survey will adhere to the Data Protection Act of 1998. Moving on now to the methods of data analysis. We'll be analysing the quantitative data collected using a statistical package for social science and qualatrics, as this isn't too complicated for an inexperienced researcher such as myself, and is sophisticated enough to allow me to perform a high level of analysis, such as bivariate and multivariate analysis. After I conduct a market research survey on Golf Break's existing customers, this will give me an insight on customer motives and preferences. From this, I'll be able to calculate percentages showing which preferences are most favoured and by what age and gender. From this data using SPSS, I'll be able to calculate if there's a significant correlation between customer preferences and factors such as age and gender. I can display this on a scatter graph. Based upon this data in the Ansoff matrix, I will give recommendations as to new marketing pathways that would be effective for golf breaks to implement in order to increase the sales of their golf holidays. This survey will also allow me to calculate a percentage as to what social media platforms are the most effective at engaging golf breaks customers, again by age and gender. This can be represented in pie charts. I will use SPSS here again to see if there's a significant correlation between these factors. Based upon this, I can give recommendations as to which social media platform they should channel their marketing on in order to generate more leads and foster a lasting relationship with the consumer. In summary, this presentation has been effective in justifying my chosen MIS pathway, which will be an individual consultancy project. Furthermore, I've clearly highlighted the topic of study, the stakeholders it concerns, key literature around the topic, the methodology which I will use, as well as methods of data analysis. Lastly, here's a reference list of all the literature that I've used throughout my presentation. Thank you for listening.